to Kansas, gateway to Oz. Under the rainbow, this is where it was. Hollyhocks and red ripe tomatoes, hand-churned homemade ice cream. Let me tell you, Kansas is more than tornadoes. It's the best part of Dorothy's dream.
Today on Around Kansas, join us for a story about the Wichita Museum and its legendary history. Then join us for a story about Glenn Fountain and his role in the Pluto flyby. Next, learn about an animal in western Kansas called the mule deer. And we'll end with an eclipse time-lapse video brought to you by Wide Awake Films in Kansas City. Stay with us. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. Well, hello, I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And this is Around Kansas. Thanks for joining us.
And I don't know if you recognized us or not because we're on different sides this week. So we decided I look better over here. If anything can help this time of morning, we'll try anything though. Cher's whole thing about how do you look younger and slimmer and prettier. You sit next to someone who's old, fat, and ugly, and you always look better. So
think about that a moment.
No, Frank, I'm thinking that's you and I need to find some other people to sit here beside us. That's right. Yes, it has to be.
Where I sit, you can't help anyway.
It has to be a same-sex person, It's
there we go. Okay.
Yeah, you're going to be judged next to them. So that was her beauty secret.
Nice cover, Deb. Yeah. Okay. So anyway.
All right. So big news in Oakley. We have a Sonic now. We do, right there on the interstate next to Mittens.
Do you have a Dairy Queen?
Western Wildlife. We have a local version of Dairy Queen.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and now a Sonic.
And now we have a Sonic, and we actually have Don's Drive-In, which is a wonderful drive-in there on the highway too. But this one is right on 70, so the tourists can stop. We can get limeade and we can get cherry slushes and all that good stuff.
Well, those two guys that do the commercials, they will probably do at least one commercial there because that's what they do is they move around to the various locations where there are Sonics to do those commercials.
Could life get any better? We'll have Buffalo Bill and the Sonic guys all in Oakley at the same time. That'll be awesome.
There you go.
Get their picture next to the Buffalo Bill sculpture. Will that be cool or what?
Yeah.
You know it will. All right, so we got other big news.
Mm-hmm.
The September issue of True West Magazine. My good friend Bob Bose Bell is the publisher and just the general man about town. This one has Curly Bill Brocious on the front, the character from Tombstone, unforgettable character, played by Powers Booth, who just passed away. And my gosh, what a talent he was. Just amazing talent. All right, this is their annual guide to the best museums of the West. And by golly, guess who made the top 10, Frankie C?
Well,
Old Cowtown in Wichita.
there we go.
Very good. So Old Cowtown in Wichita, which is a phenomenal museum. We all know that. And it is number 5 in the top 10 museums in the West. And they are in some incredible company. Let me tell you what. And of course, the number 1 museum in the West is the Buffalo Bill Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming, where I studied a few years ago. And 10 museums to watch. Guess who made that, Frankie C?
Let me see.
The Fort Wallace Museum.
There you go.
Is that awesome or what?
On the tip of my tongue. Yeah.
And we are in some high company, let me tell you, right along with the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City, which is just phenomenal. The Autry Museum in LA. I mean, the Johnson County Jim Gatchell Museum in Buffalo, Wyoming, which is incredible. I visited most of these. We are so proud to be part of that. And we thank you, Bob Bose Bell and Candy Moulton and Johnny Boggs and whoever else helped to put us there. Not to mention all the people that work so hard at the museums to get that attention. But Kansas can sure be proud of the representation in this issue of True West Magazine.
Hey, we have some great stories.
We do.
Welcome to the Jerry Thomas Gallery and Collection, where we showcase my renowned frontier military and Native American artifacts. Behind me you see A Touch of Fall. We put together not only the beauty of Micah Highwalking, who is the first graduate of West Point of the Northern Cheyenne people and a dear friend, but also a Hudson's Bay blanket that I have here in the gallery. The unique opportunity that I was able to have was we unveiled this painting and surprised Micah at Custer Battlefield, a true honor.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. And here we are again. She's on that side now. I'm over here. And so,
It's just hard to get used to, isn't it?
yeah.
You know, old people, you change and it's just like, whoa, my whole day is backwards now.
Good grief. You know, we're in the middle of September.
Can't believe it.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, we
I
keep
feel
saying
like
that when we do this.
I know
but
every
say,
show, but it's like, whoa, it's
It's
another
Yeah.
eon has passed since the last time.
I know. It's just crazy because it seems like it was just 4th of July and now Labor Day is gone and here we are in the middle of September and it's like, okay, well, Christmas is next. Got you get your Christmas shopping done early.
The nightmare before Christmas, Halloween and Christmas all together on the shelves.
Yeah.
Well, I have gotten to travel, as you know, Frank, to a lot of places around Kansas, and we were just talking about Old Cowtown in Wichita. And when you go to Old Cowtown, you've got to stop in and see the Sedgwick County Historical Museum. It is beautiful, and I was a guest speaker there a couple of weeks ago. They have a Senior Wednesday. Yeah, I was a speaker at Senior Wednesday. But they invite there's a senior citizens group that meets there, and they have guest speakers, and my friend Rod Beamer was going to be the next one after me, and I told them all, you know, he's going to be really good. I couldn't get anything to work. Oh, Frank, it was a trial, but they were so sweet, and it is a beautiful museum. Let's take a look. The premier artifact of the Wichita-Sedgwick County Historical Museum is the building itself. Tucked away downtown is the Palace of the Plains, the city's old city hall. The work of architects Willis Proudfoot and George Bird. The structure was Wichita's pride and joy when completed in 1892. Although the building was meant to be a symbol of the prosperity of the 1880s, it was constructed during a recession that left the clock tower vacant for years. Bonds for the construction were not paid off until 1928. All city offices, including the police and fire departments, and Wichita's first public library, were housed in the building. It was remodeled through the years, and the tower clock was added in 1917, along with the 1,000-pound bell. In the 1950s, the carillon was installed. The building continues as a beacon of historic preservation in downtown. The museum collection has evolved from a core of early memorabilia to nearly 70,000 artifacts relating to Wichita and Sedgwick County from 1865 to the present. From photographs to fashions, business records to furniture, these items help tell the story of the people and events that have shaped our place and time today. The museum's history began with the Sedgwick County Pioneer Society in 1919. The society collected artifacts and anecdotes of the quickly disappearing pioneer history of the area. The 4 floors of exhibits chronicle the earliest inhabitants, the Wichita Indian tribe, whose name the town adopted, the hunters and traders who settled along the banks of the river, and the cowboys who drove their cattle through town. The displays trace Wichita's early years as it transforms from the buffalo hunting days of the 1860s to the dawn of flight in 1911 on its way to becoming the air capital of the world. Fort Wallace was the fightingest fort in the West. Fossils, Indians, soldiers, scouts,
wagons, trails, pioneers, stories. Discover the story of Fort Wallace and the people who served here, the people who fought here, the people who settled here. Wallace County, where the past is present.
There's a lot of different ways of doing this woodwork, but I could not make a knife without both hands, especially without this thumb. And my thumb was so sore that I couldn't even touch it, and they wanted to fuse it, and I said no, cut it off, because I didn't want it sticking up. And I found out about the Kansas Regenerative Stem Cell and went to Manhattan and had that taken care of in my thumb, and now I'm able to go again.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. And here we are again. This is Around Kansas, in case you just tuned in. If you've never seen the show before, it's a show about the state of Kansas and its people, places, and things that make the state a great place to live and for you to come visit if you're from out of state. So,
And if you've been watching since the beginning of the show and hope it had turned to something else, sorry, it's still Around Kansas, so and we're still here.
yes, so, hey, you know, did a story here some time ago, a few weeks ago, about the man that discovered Pluto, and he was from Kansas. Of course, he didn't discover it in Kansas, but at the planetarium, and that's where he discovered Pluto.
In Arizona.
Well, guess what? Many, many, many years later, of course, we did a flyby of Pluto, and to take a look at it and make sure that, yes, in fact, it was a planet.
It's still there.
And there is a Kansan who had a lot to do with that flyby. So anyway,
Oh, wow.
I get to
Can't
do
wait.
a story about him. So let's take a
Super.
look. July 14th, 2015, an amazing scientific moment occurred as a satellite from Earth flew directly by the dwarf planet Pluto. Just like the man who originally discovered Pluto 85 years ago, the man who helped lead this mission to Pluto came from rural Kansas. We learned about the discoverer of Pluto, Clyde Tombaugh, and his boyhood home of Burdett, Kansas. Today, we will learn about the man who was the project manager for the modern-day exploration of Pluto. Glenn Fountain is the recently retired project manager for NASA's New Horizons Pluto Kuiper Belt mission at the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland. Glenn grew up in western Reno County, Kansas. As a child, he was interested in science, and he found that his involvement in Boy Scouts broadened his horizons and encouraged his work ethic. Glenn went to Hutchinson Community College and then on to Kansas State, where he earned advanced degrees in electrical engineering. It was an excellent education and provided a foundation for a good career, he said. Glenn's family often vacationed in Colorado, so he thought he'd look for a job there. But a friend told him about the Applied Physics Lab in Maryland. I figured I'd come east for 5 years, then go to Colorado. I still haven't made it out there, Glenn said with a smile. He and his wife Sharon make their home in Maryland. I had a great career doing interesting things, Glenn said. At the Applied Physics Lab, he worked on navigation satellites and other projects. After Voyager flew by Neptune in 1989, the scientific community noted that NASA had gone to every one of our solar system planets at the time except Pluto. However, the estimated cost of going to Pluto was astronomical. In fact, the agency even announced the Pluto mission is dead. This generated strong pushback from the scientific community and the public, and eventually the project was reinstated. In 2001, the Applied Physics Lab was selected to lead the project. Glenn Fountain became the project manager in 2003. The scope of the project was massive. Many people didn't think we could do it, Glenn said. NASA called the project the New Horizons Pluto Kuiper Belt Mission, or New Horizons for short. The New Horizons spacecraft was launched in 2006. New Horizons was the fastest spacecraft ever to leave Earth. Even so, It took 9.5 years and 3 billion miles to get to Pluto. We hit the target within 40 miles and arrived within 90 seconds of when we wanted to arrive, Glenn said. That's like a person on Earth shooting a BB and hitting the exact pebble they were aiming for at the bottom of a crater on the moon. What's more, it enabled the spacecraft to capture amazing images and the most close-up pictures of Pluto in history. We found Pluto to be a much more fascinating place than any of us expected, he said. It's a fantastic place, and we've learned a lot. The mission continues as New Horizons will fly into the Kuiper Belt in 2019. This mission also showed an appreciation for history. The New Horizons spacecraft carried some of the ashes of Clyde Tombaugh, the man who found Pluto first. Glenn Fountain invited Clyde Tombaugh's family to come to the headquarters for the flyby. This was a wonderful way to close this circle of discovery. It was especially fitting because Glenn Fountain, like Tombaugh, grew up in rural Kansas. Glenn Fountain was originally from Arlington, Kansas. Population 473. Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Find out more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome back, folks. So, yes, Frank, go ahead. I know.
No, I was
can't
just going to
stand
say
it if I
we're
start.
back, but that's all right. It was your turn. So,
I
anyway.
never get a turn. All right, so I wanted to talk about mule deer. It's fascinating to me because, you know, they've got those big mule ears, which is why they call them that.
Because dummy me, I was going to say, what's the difference?
Yeah, they're some pretty creatures.
Well, I'm going to pay particular attention to this next story then.
You do that.
Okay.
Mule deer are icons of the American West. Mule deer are generally easy to identify due to their large mule-like ears, generally 3/4 the length of their head. They usually have a distinct black forehead or mask that contrasts sharply with a light gray face. The light facial coloration makes the eye rings and muzzle markings seem less obvious. Mule deer are brownish gray in color, have a white rump patch and a small white tail with a black tip. Mule deer are primarily browsers, with the majority of their diet comprised of weeds and leaves, twigs, and woody shrubs. Some biologists estimate that the mule deer's sense of smell is up to 1,000 times stronger than a human's. Research suggests that a mule deer can detect human odor up to half a mile away. They can detect water that is up to 2 feet below the ground. Because the eyes of mule deer are located on the sides of their head, they can see a 310-degree view around themselves. They have better night vision than humans, but less accurate daytime and color vision. Mule deer can detect slight predator movement up to 600 meters away, but they are not very good at detecting motionless forms. A mule deer does not flag its tail like a white-tailed deer, but often bounces away in a motion called stotting, in which all 4 hooves are pushed off the ground at the same time. With each bound, a mule deer may jump as high as 2 feet and as far as 15 feet. A mule deer may not escape as fast as a white-tailed deer, but a mule deer is more effective in quickly moving through a rugged terrain.
Buffalo Bill Cody earned his legendary title in Oakley. Bring the family and come celebrate Oakley's pioneering history and unique geography at two sites, the Buffalo Bill Cultural Center and the Fick Fossil Museum. Cody's statue marks his achievements and welcomes visitors to the Cultural Center. The Fick Fossil Museum houses world-class fossils and artifacts. You'll find Oakley at the hub of U.S. Highways 83 and 40 and I-70. Stop for the legend. Stay for the day. Discover Oakley.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm not going to say anything. You?
I wasn't going to say
Hey, there we go. Nah, okay. Anyway, hey, where were you during the eclipse? So,
Honestly?
yeah, well, let me say, I was in the parking lot of our building. We had this whole thing planned. I didn't plan it, but the manager of the office building, the plan, she had eclipse cookies that were suns and moons and the whole thing. And we all gathered in the parking lot to look at the clouds. And occasionally you could get just a brief glimpse of what was going on. So that's where I was during the eclipse.
Well, we were at the Quinter sale barn, the livestock sale, because Jake had to fill in for Dr. Ritter. And so we had broken for lunch, and one of the little girls, I guess her parents owned the sale barn, and I don't know, she was 6 or 8, and she had eclipse glasses. So she and one of the guys with his welding mask, I was standing out in the parking lot of the sale barn with the cows mooing in the background, and looking through her eclipse glasses, and then run back and grab his welding mask. So my friends Wide Awake Films in Kansas City did a little time, what do you call that?
Time lapse.
Time lapse?
Yeah.
So they did a little time lapse of the eclipse in Kansas City.
Space and time. I know I have the best of time and space, and was never measured and never will be measured. I tramp a perpetual journey. Come, listen all. Each man and each woman of you I lead upon a knoll, my left hand hooking you round the waist, my right hand pointing to landscapes of continents and the public road. Not I, not anyone else can travel that road for you. You must travel it for yourself. This day before dawn, I ascended a hill and looked at the crowded heaven, and I said to my spirit, when we become the enfolders of those orbs and the pleasure and knowledge of everything in them, shall we be filled and satisfied then? Space and time. It is not far. It is within reach.
We have to go. I'm Frank.
I'm Deb.
And we'll see you somewhere
Around Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
More than tornadoes. We're the best part of Dorothy Stream. We're the best part